There is one very common mistake that people make when they're installing their wheel bearings on a DR650, and it can potentially damage the bearings and cause premature wear. But first, these are the stock bearings on my bike, and I'm at 44,000 miles, and I have not been easy on them. So let's start by getting these front ones in, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing that we need to remove is this dust seal, and it should come up fairly easily with a Phillips head screwdriver. I have this little pry bar, and I think it's probably the perfect tool for the job. There it comes. We can see one of our bearings here. We have another bearing on this side, which does not have a dust seal. In between these two bearings is a spacer. And what happens, and where people go wrong installing these on their bikes, is that the spacer is slightly longer than the seat. So if you seat both bearings, it winds up getting crushed against that spacer. So the proper way to install them on this bike is to seat one, insert the spacer, and then you push the next bearing in till it's just touching on that spacer, not till it's all the way seated, according to the internet. And it's different for and you do it on the one side on the front and one side on the back. I'll have to look it up which side it is. So I've stacked up a couple pieces of wood here, so that way the bearing can fall down onto the ground. I'll keep burning. Try this instead. Now you can got it, surely. I'm definitely moving it. There it is. It came out nice and even. I'm not going to touch it because it's hot, but there's no scoring and it didn't bore it out at all. So what happens is over time, especially if you don't use heat, you end up boring out that hole, and then you have to get new hubs for your wheels eventually. All right, so now let's rinse, wash, and repeat for the other side. Alright, so my bearings are in the freezer, so they're contracting. Now here's the game plan. We're going to fully seat the bearing on the left side of the front wheel. Then we're going to insert the spacer, and then we are not going to fully seat the bearing on the other side. We are going to push the bearing until it just touches right here with the spacer. I'm going to post a link down below, which is where I got the information originally, and I think it explains it a little bit better than I do. These bearings are the same on either side, so either way, you're good. And I'm gonna apply just a dab of grease. Okay, so what we don't wanna do while driving it is damage this inner race. So I have a washer that just is a little bit smaller than this outer race. And I'm going to take my punch and I'm going to go just like that until it's seated. Looks like it's going in pretty straight, but I might need to hit it a little more on this right side. I'm actually going to take the old bearing and use it to drive it in a little bit. That sounds like it might be it. Hear that different sound? I think it's seated, but I'm gonna give it just a few more taps to make sure. Because I can't go back. Yeah, it's seated. Alright, now we get our washer again. Sliding on top, and it's not quite, even. So we're going to start with the side it's lopsided on. That's right. Alright, let's put this other dust seal in. Alright, so now we got the fronts in, let's pop the rear wheels in too. Alright, let's start with the push drive hub. So the first thing that we have to do is get this rubber seal off. And it is in there, man. Whoa, I just sent it flying. To show you how far this thing went. It went from here all the way over to here. So this one has been, this one's definitely junkier, but this one has 44,000 miles on it. And it doesn't have any hitches in it. It's not rusted out. I mean, just quality. So there's a spacer right here that should just more or less slide out. Come on. Maybe it goes the other way. Yeah. All right, let's apply some heat. It's almost out. Oh, that's my finger. There it comes. Bolt's hot, so. All right, so now I'm gonna clean out the inside of this hub and we're gonna drive in the new bearing. I have a grease sprocket tie-dye now on my shirt. And it spins so smoothly now. It does spin a million times better than the old one, so. All right, let's add a little bit of grease again. And slide in our new dust seal. All right, so we're on to the rear wheel. Let's pop out this dust seal. That popped out easy. Okay. This one's gross. You can see this one's gross. This one takes, oh, it's almost out. I almost got it. This one's a little harder to get out than the others. There she comes. So this one definitely needed to come out. Look at that. Oh yeah, this one was done. I'm glad I did this before I rode out 2,000 miles away from home. Look at that. Out it comes. Let's see. This one was, it's hot. This one wasn't in just great shape either, but better than the other one. That was gonna fail before too terribly long. I might have made it home. All right, since I got the wheel off the bike, I'm gonna clean this up, clean this gunk out of the hub, and clean up my spacer, and then we're gonna put the new ones in. There it is. And there it is. Beautiful. All right, so last step here. So this gets heated up. We're gonna drop in our spacer. And then according to my research, the bearing is not going to be seated all the way against the seat. We're going to stop when it comes in contact to this bearing, because if we drive the bearing all the way into the seat, it's going to crush that inner race, because this is going to be just a little bit longer and taller than this seat. So let's put this in and look at it here. And that is the case. So if I drop this in with this bearing fully seated, this spacer sits above the seat just this much. Alright, that sounds about right. And alright, it is just in contact with that spacer. Just barely has it made contact with the spacer. So I'm just gonna like baby tap it to get it level. If that makes sense. That's it. It's done. You don't fully seat this one. All right, so that's it. It's not that bad of a job. Just make sure you use heat and you put those bearings in the freezer, and that you keep in mind where that spacer is, especially on that rear wheel, so that you don't crush the inner washer. It's not really something that you should be dreading or fearing. It takes a couple hours. It's not that big a deal. So get yours changed out and keep on riding, and you'll have a great day.